A software engineer for most of the year, but every October, Mark Solomon takes time off to indulge his artistic side. Joining us now to demonstrate his incredible talents is professional pumpkin carver Mark Solomon. Welcome to Community Connection.
Oh, thank you.
I love this. I love how you've been able to embrace this passion that started when your wife bought a book.
Yeah, she bought a Pumpkin Masters book. We had tried doing regular jack-o'-lanterns, and I tell you the truth, I was terrible at them. And so we bought this book with patterns and descriptions of how to transfer the patterns to the pumpkins and carve them, and we've gone from there, and every year we've gotten more and more elaborate until finally we were noticed.
And you started this like 16 years ago,
Yes.
so it really has evolved. When you talk about a pattern, you're like talking about what's on the front of this pumpkin
Yes,
here,
exactly.
right? Okay.
So there we have a pattern, and in the old days I used to sit there with a poker and poke little holes in the pattern to transfer the pattern to the pumpkin. Recently we've gone high-tech with transfer paper, and so we'll take a pumpkin like this, and I've done most of the pumpkin already. Let me see, I just got a few lines to finish up here. And
So you just trace it, and then it transfers the
Yes.
pattern onto the front of the pumpkin.
So I think if I remember correctly, that should have the whole pattern. And then we'll do the big reveal here, front of the world, if I did this right. And
You just pull it off.
pull it off.
Ah,
and we
yes,
have the
there
pattern
you
on.
go. So is this kind of like what carbon paper used to be like in
Pretty
the olden
much
days?
it's carbon
Okay.
paper. So and then to keep the pattern on there, we'll spray it with a fixative. I'm not going to do that in the studio because we need more open air.
Okay. I have to comment on the size of these pumpkins because these are not the little ones that you usually are accustomed to. You buy big pumpkins.
These are small ones for us.
Okay.
Our pumpkins usually run, I mean, this is about what we usually go for the smallest pumpkin, and we'll go to pumpkins which are about 125 to 150 pounds for the max.
Wow.
One year we went up to a 300-pound pumpkin. Never again, but
Oh, what does this one weigh?
this one, before we cleaned it out, was about a 60-pound pumpkin. So,
So after you do the transfer, which you've already done on this one here,
yes, we've done.
do you do the transfer before or after you carve out the top?
Actually, we could do it either way. With this methodology, I could do the transfer weeks beforehand. The fixative will keep it solid and on there the whole time. It won't smear, it won't come off until I spray the fixative on a second time, and then I could wipe it all off. So, which is how we clean the pumpkins at the end when we're done carving them.
And I'm just wondering how long it takes to clean out a pumpkin this size.
Well, I have the best wife in the world, and she does all the cleaning for me. So this pumpkin took her about, I'd say about 40, 45 minutes. She does an amazing job. Everything is very, very specific. When she cleans out a pumpkin, starts off by taking off the top, and you'll notice the shape. It has a little notch in it. This is so that we can figure out where the lid goes on. It matches up with the notch.
Okay.
It's also cut at an angle so that when you put it back in, it doesn't fall through. Some people make the mistake of carving up and down. When you put it back, it goes thump.
Right
That
down
doesn't
to
be
the
any
bottom.
good, yes.
Okay. Good advice.
So
when you're looking for a pumpkin, apparently smooth skin is a very important factor.
yes, we found a pumpkin grower who uses a breed called Atlantic Giants.
Okay.
And they tend to be a bit larger, and they tend to be very smooth in the skin. It makes the transfer of the pattern easier because I don't have to work with the ridges. It makes the carving and the scraping easier when I'm carving it. Again, because the pattern's transferred, it's just nicer to work with.
Now, I've noticed these pumpkins here, we're going to give away your little secret. These are not real pumpkins. These are foam.
Those two are foam pumpkins. They're called foamkins, and I carved them probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And so, yes, there's a bunch of pumpkins on my on my front lawn that are not real pumpkins. The carving is real. I did do the carving.
Well, and it's a great way to preserve it. If you've put all that energy and effort into it, then you have it forever. It's not going to be something that you have to...
Yes, these will last a week, maybe 2. we've got a couple of secrets that we use. We take a spray of Clorox bleach and water that will preserve the pumpkins a bit longer.
Okay.
It will, the water keeps the pumpkin moist, and the bleach will keep it from mildewing. And so that will extend the life out a bit longer, but it's still 3 or 4 weeks. That's about the max you
It's a
possibly
pumpkin.
hope for.
It is going to deteriorate
Yes.
as vegetation does. But this one, something like this, how long would this take to carve? This one is, you've actually embellished it with some little eyes on it.
Oh, yes, yes. We found those eyes someplace, and we thought, oh, that would be really good for the mummy. That one, the foam's a little bit more difficult to carve with, but I might have taken 90 minutes carving that.
Okay, so people should not start with the foam. They should start with the pumpkin. So show us some of the tools you use and then
Okay.
actually the process of creation.
Okay, well, we use, I mean, the really basic tools, the Pumpkin Master tools, just a simple blade. We have different sizes of blades. When you get more advanced, we get electric blades. For transferring the pattern, there are pokers. We even have electric pokers. For the scraping, one of my favorite tools for the scraping is a V-shaped tool, you can see, and that will allow me to outline or draw a line. Other ones which allow me to pull off sections of the skin in big chunks. One of the ones we found recently, it's just a triangular shaped tool with what looks like a staple in it.
Okay.
And that will allow me to pull out a section of the skin of the pumpkin all at the same depth. It's very nice for a nice, even, smooth.
Can you work on this pumpkin here and show us a little bit of the process?
Okay, so I have, oh, there's the pattern. I always work from the pattern. When you look at the pattern, the gray areas are the parts that I'm going to just pull the skin off of. The black areas I'm going to carve. If you look at the pattern as compared to what we've done, you can see I've left the arm still to be done. So I'm going to turn the pumpkin a bit towards me so that I can see what I'm doing. And work over here. And
how quickly can you work, Mark?
well, we're about to find out. So, excuse me for getting down, but we'll finish off the bottom line with the V-shaped tool I mentioned earlier. And that will go down the bottom of the arm. And out to the other side.
How many of these do you typically do over the course of a season?
Well, it depends on how many professional jobs I get, but for our house alone, I do about 15 real ones.
Amazing. And this is, I love how you've put in a really bright light, because the candle doesn't really show the handiwork here. But when you put in a 60-watt bulb, and then if you were to turn the lights out or have this in your front yard, it's just exquisite to see the detail of that.
So, yeah, I'm not sure this pumpkin is going to,
Well, we'll let you keep working, because it's
Okay.
absolutely neat. And we'll tell people you do have a Facebook page.
yes, I do.
And they can go to facebook.com/Mark Solomon Pumpkin Carver and see samples of your work and maybe even where you might be doing some appearances or classes. So very neat. Fascinating, Mark. Quite a gift. It's almost time. SOFA Chicago will be here before you know it. Celebrating its 19th year, SOFA Chicago 2012 will take place at Navy Pier Hall November 2nd through November 4th. This popular 3-day event features masterworks of contemporary and modern art, as well as folk and visionary art. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit sofaexpo.com. Well, that's all the time we have on this edition of Community Connection. Please join us next month for an exclusive interview and performance with musician-actor Tyler Hilton. To learn more about our show, log on to the website at cn100.tv. Follow us on Twitter or check us out on Facebook. And be sure to watch the special features that have been added to the Community Connection folder on demand. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Cindy Bravos. We'll see you next time.